The Bahamas Pharmaceutical Association has represented the advancement of pharmacy practice for over 30 years and boasts members who have made and continue to make invaluable contributions to the building and development of the Bahamas. The BPA represents members in various sectors, including, but not limited to, wholesale, retail, educational, public and private. We are committed to improving the practice standards and the level of pharmaceutical care within the country, and are key contributors to professional associations throughout the Caribbean and the Commonwealth of Nations. The Bahamas Pharmaceutical Association has spent many years seeking a review and change to the previous Pharmacy Act, and after several efforts, our last push for this objective began in 2004 and ended with the passage of a new Pharmacy Act in 2009. This act was not an initiative of any government, but driven by the membership and their wish to have modern pharmacy practice standards and a measure of self-governance, a measure no different than any other colleagues in medicine, nursing, or even other professionals such as engineers and lawyers. To this end, the BPA has sought to educate our membership on all aspects of the Act and partner with governments and in its implementation and execution. To be clear, the BPA not only wrote the content of the Act, but was actively involved in its drafting, even at the point of attending and drafting and review sessions within the Office of the Attorney General. The BPA was informed of appointments made by the Minister of Health for 2013-2014 term of the Bahamas Pharmacy Council, and is appalled that several appointments have been made to the direct violation of the Pharmacy Act. The Act is clearly specific as to the parameters for all appointments, and it is apparent that the appointments in question were made with disregard for what is written in the Act. The BPA has written to the Minister on 2 occasions since the appointments were gazetted, and informed his office that these appointments were made in contravention to the law. The BPA also requested an urgent meeting with the Minister so these matters could be resolved without unnecessary public disclosure. To this date, the Minister has not acknowledged receipt of either letter. We find this unacceptable, especially as it has resulted in the appointment of a council that by acting is in fact in contravention of the Act it is supposed to enforce. In addition, the association has written to the Minister on several occasions beginning from May of 2012, each time requesting a meeting to discuss various matters of importance to the pharmacy community and national health care. We have offered on every single occasion the full support of the association in improving pharmaceutical care and all expertise that lie within. The body to date has not been acknowledged nor granted any opportunity for such necessary dialogue. We now find ourselves in this very public position, having to retain legal counsel to seek to rectify the mistakes made. When we repeatedly sought to address the matters in private, but were ignored and disregarded. We still remain committed to meeting with the Minister and addressing these matters in a cordial and cooperative way, but unless an invitation is now extended, we must follow the mandate of our membership and fight what our members see as grave injustices brought against the profession as a whole. We wish to reiterate that this is not a personal attack on any appointee or on the Minister. It is simply an issue that requires the Minister and the Council to follow the same law that they would wish pharmacy professionals to follow. If proper redress is not given, we will be forced to provide more specifics on the matters in hand. We therefore call on the Minister, Dr. Perry Gomez, to rescind all appointments that we have noted to his office, meet with the leadership of the Bahamas Pharmacy Association, and work together to correct this problem. We further call on the Minister to create a forum for dialogue with the BPA to address various pressing matters that directly involve the pharmacy stakeholders and the government, including, but not limited to, the National Prescription Drug Plan, the National Health Insurance Scheme, the regulations of standards for import and export of medicines, and we implore the Minister to involve pharmacy stakeholders, including the association, in the development of the upcoming National Health Insurance Initiative, which currently has no representation from the pharmacy practice sector. Our membership boasts of qualified clinical pharmacists, successful independent owners, thriving wholesale importers, and experienced pharmacy technicians. And we all stand ready to partner with the government and improve the lives of our patients and clients. Rest assured that we will exhaust every resource of the membership to correct these injustices and ensure that the changes and developments in the practice of pharmacy are led by pharmacists. This is the only legitimate way to ensure that in the end, our patients are given the best possible care and affordability possible. To our members, we encourage all of you to remain in solidarity and remember that we are fighting for our respect and indeed our survival. We sincerely hope that the cooperation and dialogue will prevail in this matter.
From the perspective of the concern mentioned by the President with regards to regulations and proposed regulations for import and export of medicines, the association certainly is quite concerned about that because it impacts the price competitiveness and accessibility for patients throughout our country. The rules of regulations are clearly displayed in many developed countries that allow imports and liberalization of global trade of medicines. And under our present environment is being developed quite naturally in a capitalistic and competitive way. But regulations and registration in many of our jurisdictions has shown to mitigate the competitive and availability of the competitiveness and pricing and availability of products. Certainly, the Pharmacy Association is concerned about that approach and is also concerned about ensuring that the patient receives those safe, affordable, and accessible medications.
I'd just like to say, as the representative for the independent retailers in pharmacy, that we're agitating for a representation on the board that's a cross-section of the industry. We talk about retailers, pharmacy owners, pharmaceutical suppliers, and I think there are enough spaces on the board to utilize the expertise that we have within the industry. And it behooves me as well as the other members why, as key stakeholders, we are unable to get an audience with the minister. And that's all we're asking, because we can bring clarity to the situation, we can have an open dialogue and discussion and find out exactly what's going on. But in the absence of dialogue, it's very difficult to understand what it is that we're going through and to digest what has happened. And I think with the audience, that would start the process, and we can then take it from there. But the act, in my reading, is pretty much clear. as to how the council ought to be governed. And if it's not being done in that manner, we, as the pharmacy community, need to know what's going on. And so really all I would like to do is have an audience with the minister. I don't understand why, and maybe it's something I'm unaware of as a independent retailer, I don't know, but I think we deserve that right to have an audience so that we can discuss, because it's not our intentions to air dirty linen in the public, but we just need some answers.
Who's the executive chairman or the chairman of this council?
The chairman, well, as it is now,
Chairman,
as gazetted, is Barbara Donathan, who is a registered nurse. And that's another issue that I personally have, and I'm sure most of the other members do as well. Precedent has been set with all of the other healthcare professional councils, where the medical association is chaired by a medical practitioner, the nurses association by a nurse. Why do we as pharmacists have to have a chair that's a non-pharmacist?
That has never strength.
And so, and we have the competency within our profession to have someone appointed as the chair who is a registered pharmacist.
Well, at the embryonic stages of the council, in its initial convening, the chair was a pharmacist. And I dare anyone, because I sat in that chair at the time, that we didn't govern ourselves in accordance with the Act, and certainly advance pharmacy practice in the country during our tenure. So there is no reason why a pharmacist should sit in that position.